Hello, loved ones. Now is the time for the meditation in our service. And in this guided meditation, we will be releasing what keeps you from your true power. We're going to release the old programs and the karmic patterns. And then once we release them to the highest and best good for you, you're going to free you to find your authentic and true self. So I invite you to begin by sinking and settling deeply in the center, your sacred center. As I invite angels and guides and teams of divine helpers to assist you in releasing what is no longer part of you and aligning with the highest and best in you. So be open to the highest and best. Be open to what's beyond what you could even possibly imagine. So bring matters to your mind right now, trusting you're perfectly safe, and allow yourself to bring to your mind's eye patterns that have weighed you down, patterns from your past, even patterns of past lives or your ancestral lineage, all those patterns that have known you too well and have obstructed you. Be loving and compassionate with the feelings that come up around them. Recall and acknowledge all of this and being gentle and accepting of yourself. Whatever feelings there may be, feelings of disempowerment, frustration, anxiety, depression, feelings of being separate, alone, helpless with what's happening in the world. Allow yourself to feel it deeply. I'm going to be holding space for you as you do this. Now we begin the healing and clearing. So in your mind's eye, imagine or intend that you are saying goodbye to all these patterns for once and for all. And like a garment, remove them. Shed their skin. Let them go. Step aside from them and see a beautiful white flame transmuting them back into the ether. And now you will leave the old, and in front of you, you see a tall ship that you board, and the tall ship takes you up, up, up into a radiant galaxy. Up in higher dimensions you go, feeling light and free. And you step out of the ship onto a platform. And on this platform there's a beam of light, and it's surrounded by gems and crystals, all attuned to you. In this light, you feel the presence of your true, authentic God self. You feel the light of love align you to bring forth your highest and your best. You feel the light expand in you and about you, that you become larger as an energy, your energy of love. Love fills the cells of your body. Love frees you to be your authentic self, your vibrant self. You choose love now. You choose God now. You choose liberation. In this place, in the higher dimensions, you reclaim all the wisdom and knowledge that's always been yours, but has lied dormant. As you prepare to slowly come back to the here and now, I invite you to ground the experience by letting the energies flow into your whole being and down, ground into Mother Earth. Know whenever you wish to connect with your highest and best, your sacred divine self, you can always return to the higher dimensions of this platform, returning to your vibrant, empowered God self. So now gently, in your good time, you can come back to the room. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, Rumi said, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Well, no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what changes are coming in, no matter if there's sweeping storms and a tornado or power outages, there is a field. It's a grid of light workers across the planet and the universe. And no matter what turbulent changes are around, they are not standing in fear. They're standing for love. Because in this time, the light workers, just like you and me, they know everything's going to be okay. This is all a part of the plan, all of the changes. What's happening is the changes are what's leading us to the new earth, to the new humanity. The changes are leading us to a lift in consciousness, a new era for all humanity. And so what we're going to be exploring today is how in a volatile world we ascend to love. So, hello old friends, hello new friends, hello beloved souls on YouTube, welcome. There's been, since the last time I was standing here, there's been a lot of change. A lot of change. There's been a lot of changes in me. I am so not the same me that used to be standing here. And not that I see any different, but I think, because I don't see any changes in any of you, but I think that you're not the same person that used to be here when I was here. Is that true? A lot of changes going on. And so change is a flow that leads to transformation. So change is one we want to be open to. Change is, in this time, you know, it's so interesting. Like, there were changes. We would talk about changes here at Renaissance for years. They would go slow. Changes now are a whole new level. Are you feeling that too? Like, things are moving faster in this world right now. And so this is showing us we are shifting from third dimension, which is a material carbon-based plane, to the fifth dimension, which is a crystalline plane of energy. We're turning from material bodies of density to energy bodies, crystalline energy bodies. And so it's kind of like, for me, the whole image of the caterpillar comes up, because the caterpillar, you know, has to go through a lot of changes. In the chrysalis, the caterpillar, what does it become? But before the butterfly, it becomes juicy goo. Juicy goo before the butterfly. And we're in a time where we're kind of in that juicy goo. A lot is changing, and we don't know exactly where it's going. But think of this, the caterpillar has 6 eyes. And you know how much it can see? Kind of about as much as I can see these days. Very little. But the butterfly, the caterpillar has 6 eyes. The butterfly only has 2 eyes. But 10,000 prisms, the butterfly can see the entire color spectrum. And that's what indicates the kind of changes we can expect. We're like the caterpillar. We don't see all that's going to come to us. And it's going to be big. The changes that some of you may already be feeling and seeing in yourselves as you lift up into this higher frequency, they include more intuition. Anyone here experience that? Seeing their intuitive skills raising? Yeah. Sometimes improved clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. You may notice some of your senses improving. I'm noticing my sense of aroma is much better than it ever was. You may notice also everything is always working out for you. You have a dip and you get to the point where you know the dips are okay because everything is always working out for you. That's the shift. You're not working, you're not making faith a verb. You're actually experiencing it, that everything is always working out for you. So I think it's very important that as beings, we recognize we are becoming more vibrant and strong. Joseph Campbell said, we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. And so it requires that we're open to change. Now, I never would have said this before at Unity, but now I feel it's okay. Astrologers and channelers, I'm referring to them these days, they agree that we are literally on the precipice, like starting tomorrow and for the rest of the year or for the next years to come, the changes are going to be so fast, like popcorn spilling out. They're going to come so very, very fast. Pam Gregory, who's a New Earth, New Consciousness thought leader and astrologer, who's been an astrologer for at least 40 years. She said for the very first time, when I look at 2025 through 2027, I look at 2027, I have no idea who we're going to be because there's so many benevolent energies for change, for positive change. And it's really supporting us in being co-creators of that change. That for you and me, we are creating the change. So our work here is very important. And in essence, it's about being open to the changes. And so I thought that a good way to show about change and being open to it would be to take today's talk and mix it up a little bit. So I've never done this before, but this is basically the outline of my talk. And what I thought, now I've included oracle card reading in my soul coaching, and so I was doing oracle card readings yesterday, and I thought, what if I come and just start mixing up the talk? And all morning I'm trying to decide, because I had a really good outline. It goes really smoothly in the outline. But I thought, if I'm really trying to trust God and trust Spirit, I'm going to trust that however this turns out. Now, the closing will always be the closing, but I have no idea what this is going to be. But you're going to help me, because with oracle card readings, what you do is you send your intention into the cards. So whatever you need from today's service, if you would send that energy into the cards, and then Reverend David, you tell me when to stop shuffling, and that's where I'll start. Okay. All right. How appropriate. We're starting with Myrtle and Charles. Isn't it interesting? So we aren't the first to have challenging times that lead to a lift in higher consciousness. So as you well know, Myrtle Fillmore, the mother of Unity, was basically given a death sentence and told by doctors to put her affairs in order. And, Charles, dealing with his wife's grave illness and also a lifelong injury, a withered leg, they could have lived in fear about what was coming. But they chose to stand in love. They chose to stand in faith, looking for cutting edge, new, innovative strategy for healing and transformation. And so in so doing, and by the way, at that time, can you imagine going through what they went through, her tuberculosis? They didn't have central heating, running water, electricity. They didn't have x-rays, MRIs, or antibiotics. That was the time that they were living in. But they stood in the truth, and Myrtle said, I am a source of God. Myrtle, it came to her as an inspiration. Wait a minute. I am one with God. If I'm one with God, then this is not my reality. I am one with my truth, which is love and light and God. And she said it didn't take out overnight. It was in her head. She could at least calm her mindset by saying, I am one with God, really connecting to the vibe of that. I am one with God, until it sunk into her emotional field. And Charles didn't do that right away, but he saw what happened to his wife and said, wow, she healed herself. And so he started, and thank God for all of that. That started a whole trajectory of a new consciousness that has led to today, where we're in this consciousness, where we know that God is within us, because that's what they brought forth in a new consciousness. And now you are here because you're invited to be a forerunner of creating a new consciousness on planet Earth. One where we can step aside when our time is done and be proud of the legacy that we leave our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children. Take that in. That's why we're here. This has been a tough life for some. But we've done it to heal and cleanse and purge so that we can reunite and bring this forth. One down. What's next? Oh! I'm sorry, I'm really excited because my friend Darlene is here. This is Darlene Kalbach. So Darlene and I were texting. There's a whole story about Darlene, and I just am going to be very brief about it in lieu of time constraints. But Darlene was unable to use her voice because she was repressed. The people around her repressed her. The words may not be the perfect words of her experience, but essentially, the only way she could be safe was by not using her voice. Even the law would not allow her to use her voice. Very strange circumstances. And so when she had this period of freedom where all of her work paid off and she was freed from all of that, she had been making this beautiful poetry in the quiet safety of her room, in her home. But she chose to read it to a group of friends as so beautiful. And I was like, will you be sharing this? She's like, well, I don't know, I have to be safe. I have to take it real slow, so that I'm sure that, it's all of us have something, and me right now have something, where Spirit said to me, Spirit wants you to know you are safe. You have something that you want to shine your light about, but you want to hide in the shadows with it. Only dance with it when you're in your own room. And Spirit's saying, no, now's the time to bring this out. This is true for me right now. This is not easy. I'm making it, but no, it's hitting all of my buttons. And so Darlene sent me a poem the other day just for fun. And I read it and I'm like, oh my God, I want to share this. Is that okay? Which is really, I knew, confronting her issue. And I wanted to be very respectful of her. And she said yes. So, so I'm so pleased that she did, because the poem says so much about where we are. So, and by the way, in my version, I had taken this part out because I didn't think we had time with it. And so now you were supposed to hear this. And here is the poem. Welcome, the prophetic heaven on earth. Fear no more, the time is now. Rejoice. Birthed with pain through pleas and prayers, the loud cries heard from Eve's children, now quelled. Through revolt and revolution to what was, liberated, redeemed, and forgiven. The resurrection lives on, and it's the dawn of an age where peace guides and love steers, leading to the heights where anger and violence fade into the ethers, creating a felt wave of relief and surrender. A sense of Santasha sweeps over the land as one becomes whole and the whole becomes one. The ideal world emerges where Aquarius rules and Nirvana manifests in the flesh. Harmony abounds as oneness aligns in enlightened cosmic revelation. Utopian bliss blesses those now and those for infinite generations to come. Tell you out loud, there, we're back. Great. Thank you, Spirit. So the next one is about resistance. Resistance to change. Anyone have resistance to change? Oh, you are so good. I appreciate those that admit it. But all of you, I know you don't, and we're going to come learn from you tomorrow. So there is resistance to change. There's two things. One is people who are resistant to change in general, like really resistant to change, they need to control. Control is safety for them. And so the changes that are coming to the world, the changes that have been coming in our country, in our world, people want to control it so that they can make it the way they want it to be. Which is why we want to be open like water. We want to flow with the changes and trust everything's going to work out for us because it is. And so with resistance to change, part of it is if you are a light worker and you're ready to let go of all of the patterns, which all of your patterns are cleared due to the meditation, they're all gone now. You could leave here without them. They're done. But there may be a part that as you walk forward finds kind of, yeah, but they're still there, you know? That resistance to change is that you've been so accustomed to these patterns that being without them is unknown. And it makes a person vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, there's a fear underneath. And that fear is if I let go and open myself, I could get hurt real bad like I've had before. Patterns could come back worse than ever. I don't know if I can trust that. Make sense? So even though we're on top releasing, underneath there's a resistance. And it's allowing yourself to trust. Right? It's like letting go to say, I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust and be open to the change. Even if the fear is there, I'm going to stand in love. Love for yourself to be that authentic, empowered person that you really are. There are many forces here to help you, to support you. So be open to change and choose love. Sound good? Sounds good, right? Now do it. That's the hard part, right? But you can do it. You can do it. You have it and it will. You can do it. So, I want to let you know how this talk developed. And about a year ago, April, my sister passed away. And so my heart goes out to anyone who, since I've seen you last, has experienced losses. After my sister passed, it was a year experience, and then I went through a whole year of sort of the grieving process. It was a tough process. It was one where I came out of the experience really like a blank slate. And it's when people would say to me, like, what are you doing now? And I'd be like, I am like the goo in the chrysalis. I'm not who I was. I have no idea who I'm going to be. And so at that point, it was also my feelings about, oh, we are getting close to 11:20. All right, so I have to really speed this up. With my sister's passing, it's really, I started focusing on third dimension, shift to fifth dimension. It's what supported me through that process. And I wanted to find a way to shift to higher consciousness. And so an image came to me, and the image was of a trapeze. And so we could put that first slide on. So with the trapeze, what I thought is when we're stuck in the third dimensional, it's like we're on that platform. And what you have to do is step on that platform and acknowledge where you're at. So with my sister, there were times where I was really, really down and it was very hard. So I stepped on that platform and I acknowledged the feelings. I allowed the feelings and was present with them. That's really an important step, to allow and acknowledge the feelings. And then the second step was I chose to choose love. Because here I'm standing in fear of all, fear of being without, whatever that would be for you. But it is a fear when you're in the third dimensional. And so there's a decision, I'm going to choose love. I'm going to take a leap into love. And then you grab that bar and you let go of that bar. You let go of that bar. And then number 3 is, while you've let go, you know you're leaving, you're very conscious that you are leaving the old patterns behind. As you rise through the air, you're envisioning that truly empowered self. You're envisioning your God self, the ideal image of you as the benevolent God being that you are. And then you land on a platform in the higher dimension. And it's like those crystal gems that were created for you to bring you to a higher frequency. They're surrounding you. And you're on that higher platform. And there's a light of love around you. And somehow it awakens you to your truly empowered, wise wisdom self, to knowing the truth, to understanding how you can be in this. And what this does is allows you to be you in the fifth dimension and beyond. You allow the light of love to flow through you and the presence of you as your empowered self to be you in your body. And then number 5, what you do is you put your hand on your heart and you breathe this into your body. You bring it into the material plane so that you are living the fifth dimension here on this level. And what happens is that the scenario, whatever you are in, situation, scenario where you're in, you're now looking at it from a higher altitude. And you could see it very differently than you did when you were in the density of the third material plane. And now it brings a healing because you see it in a whole new way. So 1, you get on the platform, you acknowledge. 2, you take a leap, you let it go. Let it go. You're choosing love as you're envisioning where you're headed. 3, you're envisioning where you're headed. I forget the numbers. 4, you get there. You're in the light and you're connecting with your authentic power. It's there for you. It is there. God's love is waiting for us to remember it. God's love, her love, his love is wrapping ourselves, enveloping us. And you bring that in your body and you bring it back down to this level for you to work in the world from the higher planes. So in a volatile world, there are unexpected gifts. Be open to change. Choose love. You're the forerunners of a new consciousness on planet Earth. And as we close, please take this higher energy here and visualize it in all the people in this room. That everyone here is now in that state of their eminent love. That each of you take it, that you're visualizing everyone here as a beacon of light. And now imagine all the light workers in the field and grid across the planet, also in a field of light, emanating love, being their authentic divine self. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Blessings and love.